Okay, hello. Before the start, I just want to say that we had like a not big problem, very small problem with the slides that overlaps some information. Sorry for that. I want just to say that. Go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. We are happy to be here representing CART today. My name is Angie Trujillo and I'm here with Juan Melo. And today we are going to talk about adding ciclovías to the OpenStreetMap database as an important part of better and smarter mobility. As some of you may know, CART is a company that updates road networks around the world for routing purposes most of the time. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, the CART team was in Colombia taking pictures for Mapillary. These pictures are used to help update road networks, but Bogota is a city with big problems about traffic, so they were behind a schedule. They thought, on Sunday the traffic would be better, but they got a surprise because the main street are closed to cars on Sundays. At first, it was a big problem because at first it was a big problem, but then it gave us a great idea. What if we added this kind of road closures to OpenStreetMap, so routing apps could know and understand what changes were happening in the real life. Here we want to be clear. When we say ciclovías, we are not talking about regular bike lane. In this case, ciclovías means the special events where the streets are closed to cars and open for people to walk, to run, to bike, especially on Sundays. Yeah? It started in Bogota, but cities like Medellin, Villavicencio, and Bucaramanga in Colombia also have them, and many other cities in Latin America too, even Sao Paulo, where we already tested this idea. These events have been going on for years in Colombia, not in other countries. They are super important because they give a safe space to people to exercise without cars. Also, by closing big streets, the air gets cleaner and people get moving around differently, especially by bike. As you can see in that pictures, these are not small streets. They are really wide and important roads full of people every Sunday. It's like a weekly tradition in cities where this already happens. Why use OpenStreetMap? OpenStreetMap is perfect for this kind of information. It's a collaborative platform with a map that many apps use, especially open source ones. But for this to work well, we needed a solid method. Clear, organized, and easy to update, not just only for cities where this happens, but in new cities too. So our goal is to make this method replicable. Anyone should be able to use it. The process. This project started in Colombia and is now working in 3 cities, in Bogota, in Medellin, and Villavicencio. And we are showing it here today because it follows all the steps of a classic mapping project. The preparation, is planning which roads to map, field mapping, going out to collect data, remote mapping, using the data to edit the map, and the documentation, because everything is written down and available in OSM Wiki Colombia. Okay, let's look at each step more closely. Okay, the preparation. At the beginning, we were not super organized. We just only went out and tried to collect data. But Bogota is a huge city with over 7 million people, and the ciclovías roads go from north to south, east to west, and it was impossible to map it all in one day. So, and since the events only happens on Sundays, we had to wait every week to keep going. So we started to planning our roads carefully. We started to use Mapillary for taking pictures on Sundays. And then we use those pictures to update to map remotely during the week.
There, I just want to mention that this is like the map of the sports secretary in Bogota. It shows where the ciclovías are located. And here we have all the relations that we created in our project. Sadly, the map is not in the correct position, but you can see that is basically the same. So we have to go in bicycle. Was very nice because it's like working but making exercise, but was a lot of work because again Bogota is a huge city, so we had to go from the west to the east and from the south to the north to cover all the area that we wanted to cover in order to complete all the project.
Okay. Once we had the road planned, we could go out most of the time by bike, but sometimes we also used a car to understand what changes were happening in the main street. For example, in some places, the main street is closed, and the side road change direction. A one-way street becomes two-way to help the traffic flow. So we took a picture both by car and by bike and by car to understand what changes or what closures and or changes nearby exist. It's
Yeah. Here we have just a perfect example. This is in Villavicencio, in a small city, but it's a good example because we went by the ciclovia highway, riding bicycle, but then we took our car and record the same area, but in a car to understand all the highways around. Because for our project, we didn't want just to say, this is closed and that's it. It's not allowed for a motor vehicle on Sundays, but also we wanted to understand and include on the database this kind of restriction that you can see in the first picture, that is a one-way highway all the time, but on Sunday it becomes a two-way highway. So it's kind of a very technical information that we had to include on the map. Here we have more examples because we have to study each specific area, because we had many examples. For example, the first one up is just the same case, that we have two ways, or better, becomes two ways and is normally one way. Here we have, for example, a shared lane between bicycles and cars. Obviously, the rest of the days is always for cars. And here we have another example that is just restricted and is closed for vehicles. Is allowed just for cars on Sundays. Sorry, just for bicycles. Go ahead. This is another specific example. The left picture, you can see that is the normal work, how works the traffic all the days on the week. We have like 3 or 4 lanes working from the south to north, and then for the north to south. But on Sundays, for example, this lane becomes a shared lane between cars, the green arrow, and the bicycles, the blue one, okay? And then we pass this crossing area, and the highway becomes just for bicycles, yeah? And then the left lines becomes 2 ways, okay? I know that is kind of difficult to understand, but it's all the kind of examples that we found in the ciclovia. So, here we have a picture. You look how it looks from the field, the same area. So here we have a shared lane, but after the traffic light, the cars have to take this area, okay? And another thing, for example, is that we have like a turn restriction, left turn restriction all the days here, but because the cars can't take to the left to take this line, we have to put like a conditional turn restriction. So again, it's super technical, and we have to find a way to do all these things. Well, the time is finishing, but here we have like the tax that we have to include in many highways. Go ahead. And this is yours or mine? Okay. The last part is that we already put all this methodology on the wiki with the idea that if somebody else find this kind of activities or restrictions in them cities, don't have to start from zero, because we already make a very huge work, and the idea is that we wanted to share all this methodology to be applied in other cities around the world.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, this project helps 3 groups. Cyclists, they can plan safer and better routes. The authorities, they can understand what infrastructure is missing. And the apps, because they get better data, which improves routing. We tested our data with OSM, and the restrictions work. The apps doesn't route cars through streets that are closed for ciclovías, unlike another kind of apps. This show how powerful and useful OpenStreetMap can be when we update with local real-life data. And okay, to sum up, this project is not just about maps or tags. It's about understanding how cities move and how we can use collaborative tools like OpenStreetMap to show this kind of reality. It helps make mobility safer and smarter, and show how we can use community mapping to solve local problems. And we are proud to share this with you. We really hope to others can replicate this information in their own countries. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, to finish, I just want to say and again reaffirm that we are looking for the creators of OSMAN and organic maps in order to include that information in the apps, because all the things that we make, we respect the database model of OpenStreetMap. So now we need that the apps understand that and include that, because it's like a plus for the other apps that don't have this kind of information, okay? Thank you for your attention.
Thank
And
you for
finishing, we want to invite you to the State of the Map Latin American Caribbean that is on September in Medellin, Colombia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie and Juan.